of the Bloomcast. We are still in lockdown. There's so many of us tonight, although we're missing some of our usual suspects. Sorry about the weird technical problem earlier. I think Facebook realized or thought that we were using music that didn't belong to us. I can assure you that we don't pirate music on Bloom, at least not for the show. My name is Luis. I'm one of the founders of Bloom Solutions. With us today, April Albero from Paxful Philippines, Justin David, COO of Bloom Solutions, Ramon Tayag, CTO of Bloom Solutions, returning for his second episode, and he's going to hit us with some knowledge bombs. Attorney Raf Padilla, thank you so much for joining us again. He actually contributed one of the news items we'll be talking about tonight, so that'll be very interesting. Coach Eman, looking a little tired. Long nights trading again.
Hindi, tuloy-tuloy yung stream and may bootcamp kasi, no?
Wow.
So ayun.
Okay. Sige, tell us about what's going on with your bootcamp later during your segment. I'd really like to find out what's happening there. And Mark Vernon, CEO of TagCash. Sorry, I just said all of the letters there.
I'm all of those as well.
Nice. So I did it right. Okay, cool. So lots of news this week. And if you follow me on Facebook, I actually talked a little bit about what we were expecting to be covering because some weird things happened last week. And if you are on Twitter, you've probably seen it. If you're a Bitcoin fan, I'm sure you saw it. So on July 15th, a lot of big brands and big names on Twitter started tweeting some really strange messages. So the official Apple Twitter account said, "We are giving back to our community. We support Bitcoin, and we believe you should too. All Bitcoin sent to our address below will be sent back to you doubled." And then there's like a BC1 address right underneath it. And it wasn't just Apple. It was Barack Obama. It was Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Kanye also. So he took a break from tweeting about running for president, and he started to tweet about, doubling your Bitcoin. Did anyone spot any other interesting brands or something? Did you guys see this happening? Because I think it was happening during the evening Philippine time, so maybe we didn't see it. We kind of saw it when it was already done. But when I woke up Wednesday morning, I remember seeing tons of this stuff all over. My first thought was I was actually pretty glad or impressed that the hacker used a SegWit address. So that's any Bitcoin address that starts with BC1. So it means they were using a slightly more modern format of Bitcoin. They weren't using kind of the old school versions. So that was interesting. But does anyone know how much money these scammers or hackers got away with off the top of your head?
You want to check the balance on that?
300,000. Yeah, it was below $1 million.
300. So we can actually check the balance if you'd like.
But it's all been washed through a bunch of
yes, for sure.
Wallets now, but it's still sitting in the last kind of line of wallets. I think there's about 12 or 18 wallets that it's been filtered into now. And a lot of the addresses have been blacklisted by your traditional kind of exchange gateways where you would convert this into cash, which is probably the last bit, and it's gone in the wind, right? So it's kind of like Bitcoin is, because it's in Bitcoin, it's serving as a last line of defense for these hackers.
So I think the final count was a little over $100,000. It was like $120,000, I believe. Now, if anyone wants to correct me in the chat, please do. But that's what I last saw. I think that there was more than one address too. So these three here, the stuff in the screenshot, it's all the same address. But I believe that there's at least 2 or 3 involved. So the New York Times did a really cool article about it, and it came out just a day or 2 ago. So I'll just read a little bit from here. This is an article that Decrypt wrote about the New York Times article. Far from a coordinated attack from a nation state, or the work of a sophisticated hacking group, the attackers were allegedly a group of young people in their late teens and early 20s. Speaking to the Times, the juvenile hackers explained how they managed to hijack Twitter servers via information left on Twitter's internal Slack channel, presumably after being granted access by an unwitting employee. So that was kind of weird, right? Supposedly, all they needed to do was convince a Twitter admin, one of the Twitter employees, to give them access to, kind of the administrative dashboard of Twitter, and that's how they were able to take control of these websites or these Twitter accounts. There's a little bit more information here, but like what I found out was, so I'll just do a quick summary. There is a website on the internet called ogusers.com, and this is a marketplace where people will sell social media account names. So let's say I really, really wanted the Twitter username Luis or Bloom. If I can't afford to, talk to the person who really owns it and convince them to sell it to me, I can actually hire a hacker to steal it. And all they would have to do is change the email address that owns that account, and then I would be able to take control of the account. Now, obviously, if the original owner complains to Twitter or kind of proves that it was stolen, then it doesn't really work. But this marketplace is so active that lots of people do deals on this place to kind of barter or buy and sell these very valuable old school original gangster usernames. So that's where at Apple or at Barack Obama was traded. This is actually the ad that the original hacker wrote. This is from the marketplace, and the ad just said, "Pulling email for any Twitter / taking requests." So if you had seen this ad, you could actually say, "Hey man, I will pay you $250. I need the Luis Twitter username, or the Bloom Twitter username, or the Mark Twitter username." Like, I wonder, who actually owns twitter.com/Mark? Sorry, Mark, are you speaking? Did I just
Sorry,
get this?
yeah.
Oh,
MarkVernon.org is actually a website that I would love to have, but he's an ex-priest turned atheist turned agnostic, whatever, and he writes to The Guardian. So that's the other Mark Vernon online.
Nice.
I'd love that one, but that's MarkVernon.com, and I got MarkVernon.org. So I'd love to be able to get the .com.
Well, but now you know which marketplace to go to.
Is it legal, and can I pay with Bitcoin?
No. No, it's not legal. Yes, you can pay with Bitcoin. I think those are the answers there. So here he's actually given you some examples of the ones he's already stolen. This one here, this is Anxious. So he was able to steal @Anxious, which is a great name, and some other ones here. But anyway, so like later on, he gets more and more ambitious. So he gets @Apple, Barack Obama, Elon Musk, things like that. And that's how they kind of got control of those accounts. He even shared some screenshots of what the Twitter dashboard looks like for controlling everyone's accounts. So there's a screenshot of the Binance account, and like if you had control of if you had access to this, you could actually change the email address that is associated with a Binance account, and then just do whatever you want with it. So it's pretty amazing. The fact that Twitter didn't realize that there was someone else that didn't work for their company that had total access over everything. I mean, it's one thing to take control of the public Twitter account, but don't forget that if you have email access, that means you can look at that person's private messages, stuff that wasn't meant to be public. So try to imagine what the private messages of Elon Musk must have looked like. Right. And like, think about all of the things you could have done with that information, for example. And all this guy did was try to do a Bitcoin scam. So I was kind of disappointed that he didn't really have much imagination there. And if you think about it, if you think about all of the people that saw those messages, the fact that he was only able to get away with $120,000 in Bitcoin doesn't seem like a whole lot to me.
Shame he didn't hijack Trump.
I know. I was thinking that at the start as well.
Maybe he's not a Trump guy. I don't know. Or maybe Trump is the one guy he won't touch.
It's wise. So interestingly enough, I was looking at another statistic or analysis of the hacking, and about 55% of the scam proceeds came from Asia.
Okay.
All right. Good.
And the biggest one coming from, it was about $45,000 from one person coming from a Japanese exchange.
Okay. Do you remember which Twitter name received that?
No, that'd be interesting to see which one got them, right?
Yeah, right.
It didn't go into that much, but it was just saying, that most of the scam money came from Asia.
Wow. Okay, so speaking of Asia, this guy, right? So Justin Sun, the founder of Tron, found a really cool way to insert himself into the news cycle by offering a bounty, a $1 million bounty in exchange for the real identities of those hackers. His account was one of the accounts that was hacked. So I think his account is called Justin Suntron or something like that. And so he was one of the victims of it. He's the only one that has so far offered a bounty. He's saying, we are working closely with Twitter to resolve this issue immediately and return our accounts to normal. We are always vigilant in the handling of our accounts, operating safely and responsibly, taking the security of our accounts to the highest standards possible. I mean, it wasn't the fault of the users, right? This is completely a failure in the security of Twitter. And, the only way a user like Justin Sun or like even Apple could have protected themselves, I think, would have been if they had turned on 2FA. But hardly anyone ever turns on 2FA on Twitter. Like, that's not I don't know about you guys, but I only turned on my 2FA last week when I read about this.
I don't know there's a 2FA on Twitter.
See, it's not even obvious, but yes, there is. You can turn it on. You can choose if you want Google Authenticator or if you want SMS. So it's like a real 2FA.
That would mean you would need to log in and log out of Twitter every single time you're not using it, right? So
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if you don't log out of Twitter, then you're not going to be prompted for the 2FA every single time.
Well, I think that you can even do, like, if you're super paranoid, you can actually do 2FA for every tweet you post.
Oh wow, okay.
Which is
really? Okay, but if they had admin access, they may have found a way to get around 2FA. If they had your password, then yes, they need to put 2FA. But admin access, maybe not.
You think they could have turned off your 2FA from the admin?
I think so.
Wow. Okay. Well, in that case, there's really no way to get around it.
Are we getting back on the Bitcoin stuff now, or what?
It's just talking about Twitter, Mark. It's it's fun.
Twitter. I don't use Twitter much. Does that mean I'm old now?
I don't know. I mean, do you use TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So you're not that old.
Well, I watch TikTok. I don't actually make anything. Maybe I should make stuff.
Yeah, maybe you should. Yeah, start offering.
Do you think TikTok would be a good Bitcoin education platform? I don't know.
Awesome.
Luis.
Attorney Raf, yes.
Yeah. When I saw this news report, one question that I had in mind that I honestly haven't resolved is whether this is good PR or bad PR for Bitcoin.
Good question.
And I'm kind of thinking that this is somehow good PR, but since Bitcoin is being used to scam other people here.
As long as people understand that.
Really difficult to say, yeah.
Any publicity is good publicity, right?
I think Attorney Raf, it's good that a lot of the AMLC companies are jumping on it and showing that the coins that were stolen are stuck right now in these wallets that can't liquidate into fiat cash because it's being watched heavily now, and the wallet addresses are all blacklisted. So they're highlighting the fact that blockchain or Bitcoin is actually highly traceable. yes, who knows who has possessions. It's kind of like, it's what they're kind of twisting it into, right? It serves as a better kind of, it's serving as a good line of defense, at least in this scenario.
They're mixing it though, right?
Yeah, so they're still being able to find it through the mixing services.
Right.
I think it's because it got caught so early, right? So as soon as it got caught early, everyone's kind of AMLC tools tagged and kind of.
But it's not that much. It's what, 100,000 that they got out of it, 150,000. So they can do it.
I don't think it was worth the effort, but
just offer like 10% discount, wash it with cash.
Yeah. April, do you think that this was on average better or worse for Bitcoin?
Well, with the attack, actually, it was. I think it's still a sophisticated attack. Like we're not enjoying it, but it's still like, okay, it's good to see like how many people will fall for this, and to be honest, if tama yung 130,000, I think that's still a low profit for that entire attack, but the fact that we're still able to track the transfers or the flow of the money, I think it's still not too bad at all. And as you guys said, it's still a publicity.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So I think that for a lot of the people who saw that stuff, this might have been literally the first time they saw the word Bitcoin or saw a real Bitcoin address, especially the followers of someone like Kanye or even Apple. I mean, like, people sure like Apple phones and laptops and stuff, but quite a few of them still don't really know what Bitcoin is. So that might be the first time they've ever seen those words coming from an Apple anything, Twitter account, website, whatever. So it's a
publicity. So publicity, good or bad, it can still be fixed if it's bad. So even if you were first introduced to it in a bad way, as long as we can, that can still change.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to. Oh, actually, so this is Coach Eman's segment, but I wanted to ask the coach if he had any thoughts on the US dollar peso exchange rate, because this chart here that I've posted. Sorry for kind of catching you off guard here, Coach. Pero the US dollar has really weakened against the peso this month. In the last 30 days, it's down about 1.6%. No? So it was over 50 pesos, and now we're, this morning we were 49.20, like super low. I don't know if you had any thoughts on how this affects even crypto trading. No, because like I was thinking about it, the people who are trading heavily on exchanges, on crypto exchanges, they turn their money into Tether when they kind of want to park it for a little bit, no? But if the value of Tether is going down, that means that it's actually slowly eroding their profits. I don't know if that's if you agree with that assessment.
Regarding sa PHP USD exchange, I really can't give any thoughts regarding that, because in the first place is macroeconomic to eh. So it's really hard to touch this topic, especially if we are lacking the information and the proof na ganito yung nangyayari. Here's why and here's why. So that's why I really can't give any information, kasi we're talking about countries in here. So the fluctuation of, let's say, 1 to 2% is already a significant move na for currencies, versus with BTC or any altcoins kung 100%. Okay.
Do that in an hour.
Right? Right?
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
yeah. Ayun, kasi, again, this is not a financial advice. Pero, looking at it on a technical perspective lang, which is, I think that is not enough kung technical lang. Kaya, ayun. Sorry, my hands are tied. Di ako pwede magbigay ng
it's totally fine. I was just wondering about, kasi I guess for us, no, the reason why we use a stable coin like Tether or even whatever, any stable coin, is because we're trying to look for a parang a refuge or a place to protect our value that isn't as volatile as crypto. And I guess what I wanted to show along with this chart is that, don't be too don't be too complacent about just parking your funds in Tether because you're losing money slowly. Maybe you don't notice it. Maybe you think that it's just okay, but actually 1.6% is pretty big. That's a really big movement.
If people are trading on really thin margins, then they should be paying attention to this. As a whole, though, I think it's still a little bit more acceptable risk to have Tether if you're trading Bitcoin and you're trying to protect profits. 1.6% in a month, it is kind of considerably big for Forex, but for Bitcoin or crypto world, 1.6%. I think today we moved 1.6%, I think, in about 4 hours. So, parang mas acceptable pa rin, guys.
Right. I think that's right. I think that's mostly correct naman. It's certainly more acceptable if you're just like straight up looking at volatility. What's this link that you're sharing with us, Coach?
Shinare ko to kasi it really caught my attention nung napunta yung Tether at the top 3 sa market cap natin.
Yeah.
So, naghanap ako ng reference na bakit nga ba? Why is it Tether has gone up papuntang top 3 whereas dapat XRP usually nandun eh. So, saan ba yung coin market cap natin? Ayan. So, Tether replaced XRP. And if we're going to compare two currencies, syempre, other people consider Tether. I might be wrong. Kasi hindi naman ako, I'm not that really knowledgeable with stable coins and staking or something like that sa cryptocurrency. Pero pag-aaralan ko siya. No? So with Tether and XRP, there are more likely parang they have the, if we're going to compare their circulating supply, so it's very surprising na yung Tether is still at stable at $1 even though na lumalaki yung volume niya, no? So
Tether is I don't think there's $9 billion in an account somewhere. So it's really like fiat, just issue it.
Exactly.
You think so?
Yeah.
They said
thoughts on this, Attorney Raf. What are your thoughts? Are there really 9 billion tethers sitting in someone's bank account?
Of course not. We caught them already lying on this point. Initially, Tether said that they have full reserve, right? And then they could not produce the necessary audit or independent accountant's report. They had to talk to a law firm to give them the necessary assurance, which is not credible for audit purposes. And then eventually they pivoted from stating that previously, they pivoted from the position saying that they have full reserve to a statement that about 70% of the Tether or USDT that they issue are backed by US dollar and other currencies and other securities. So we caught them lying already. So whatever their statement right now, it's not really that credible. But what's interesting to me personally is if you'll notice, USD coin is quickly catching up now. USD coin is that.
Which one is that? Which one? Who issues USD coin again?
That's Circle.
Sorry, USDC.
That's
Circle. Yeah, USD coin is basically a project collaborative. It's actually a consortium called Center, but the main movers here are Circle, of course, and Coinbase. And if you'll notice, look at the coin market cap also. USD coin is consistently catching up and is also consistently now in the top
USDC
20
here?
stable. Yeah, number 18.
Okay.
And you'll notice also in terms of the trading
there,
volume,
I see it.
it's also quickly increasing. And what seems to be a core feature that USD coin has as compared to Tether is, unlike Tether, that is who originally claimed to have full reserve, but now they've admitted that they're about 70%. fractional reserve, but you still cannot really believe that. USD coin, on the other hand, has proven consistently since November 2018, that they have full reserve. In fact, according to their latest report, which was issued by Grant Thornton, which is one of the largest accounting firms, top 5 something. According to that independent accountants report, there are sufficient dollar
reserves.
Dollar reserves that can cover for all the USDC that are currently circulating.
Where are we at with the other stables? So you've got Tether at number 3. You've got USDC at number 18. Is there anyone in between those?
Yeah, Paxos
Into USD Pay.
There's
Paxos has got to be way higher.
Where's Dai in that list?
There's also a question on BUSD. Are there any thoughts?
Yeah, BUSD is somewhere here, right?
Ash, ikaw bahala.
Is that what's that? Binance.
Binance USD. Yeah. I don't. There it is. Yeah. Number 50. Okay, so number 56. It's not as big. Clearly, 177 million market cap. True USD. Wow, I don't even know who issues True USD.
True USD is
on Ether as well, right?
Yes.
And on that point, Randlu is asking, which is the real stable coin? There are so many to be considered.
Whichever ones you...
Hanapin mo yung pinaka-stable.
Whichever one you trust in can use.
Kasi yun yung pinaka-stable.
The US dollar is the real stable coin.
The original stable coin.
Whichever one you trust.
Isn't that gold? Isn't it gold?
One of our favorite little bits of trivia about gold is that if you look at human history, parang 1 ounce of gold has always tracked the value of a cow throughout all 6,000 years of human history. By the way, a cow is about, weirdly, I don't know why I know this, a cow is $1,500 roughly. A living one, huh? Not a steak, but like a live cow.
I made a commodity based on cows. Cow coin.
Cow coin. There is a cow coin. That's Indonesian. There's a cow coin.
But where's
Indonesians cows are like gods, right? In their religion.
There you go. Maybe.
I think that's Hindu.
Yeah. Hindu, right? Or Hindu.
So it's half of not all of Hindu. Yeah.
Bali accepted. Yeah.
Bali is the there you go. Wow. So do we care that USD actually? So maybe question for the traders: do we care that Tether is only 60 to 70%?
70% back.
Yeah. Do we care?
We do if everyone pulls out.
Yes. For me, yes. Kasi, we really don't care on thinking about Tether. So, if bumigay yung Tether, so it will give us a huge downside, especially on preserving our portfolio.
Well,
yeah, of course.
The last time this happened, diba, was when Bitfinex got stuck with their Tether. And then the worst that happened, right, if people don't know, the worst that happened was you just couldn't get your money out in due time, like for a long time, maybe for a month, 2 months, some people, 3 months, some people. But eventually they were able to still get their money out. Just couldn't get it out of Bitfinex. Bitfinex was like the main holder of Tether, and they couldn't convert it to USD.
But do you think Bitfinex has enough Bitcoin to cover it? Because, on a run on a bank, this would be like a run on a bank. If everyone wanted a 9 billion bank, they don't have Bitcoin either.
Yeah. I can only repeat. So obviously, I don't have evidence of this. I can only repeat what people who have told me, and some of those folks were actual investors in Bitfinex, the company, and they were saying that they're not super worried if there was a moment in time when everyone tries to pull their money out of Bitfinex, because Bitfinex is so liquid that they can cover it just with profit. Now, I don't know what that means. Like, how profitable are these guys? But that's what I've heard. I'm not even gonna tell you who told me that, because again, like, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, because it's also it's impossible to prove it, right? Because people aren't gonna do that. So anyway, Interesting.
If Tether went bust, the money would just move into other stable coins like USDC and so on.
USDC.
Well, it looks like there's 12 of them that you could choose from. So,
TUSD, BUSD.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be building a euro. So
wow, a tag USD now. Is that
we'll see you there. We'll see you there one day.
Why is Tether still so popular even if we know that they don't have any reserves? Like
it's available in most of the exchange.
Yeah, it's because of that. It's just support.
First wave. First wave.
Yeah. I mean, you're correct. It was the first one to get to a certain, kind of level, and it was just good enough that it was really hard to compete against it. Anthony in the chat actually says the only time Tether will cease to become the top stablecoin is if Binance, Bitfinex, and Kraken and all the other large exchanges stop supporting it. So it has to be all of the exchanges have to stop supporting it. That's the only time that you'll see Tether kind of its dominance will go away. Raf, yes, please.
Luis, I have two theories why Tether remains to be used by the market, right? So you mentioned something about support from the exchanges. That's one, but for us also as users or traders, I'm not a trader by the way, but I mean for us users, why do many people are still using Tether? I have two theories. One, even though the Tether has already lied from saying that they have full reserve now, we have proven that it's really fractional reserve. When you think about it, 75% fractional reserve is still much better than the bank's fractional reserve of maybe like 10%.
I was about to say, yeah.
So in the crypto community,
good point,
right? That's nothing. I mean, that 75% is still way better than
although you have to take into account that that's still in a bank, so that's like Inception, right? This is the second level.
Yeah.
This is a second. Dream.
Because does the bank actually have it, Raf? Because the bank is also fractionally reserved, right? So that's 70% because actually more like 7%, right?
There's an interesting comment here from Anthony Chua. He's saying that Tether explained 2 years ago that the USDT they mint is backed in equivalent cryptocurrency.
That's what I said. I thought
Yeah, but like obviously the value of that equivalent cryptocurrency.
But they should be able to prove it. That's even easier to prove than putting money in the bank.
Yes,
for sure.
And Circle has shown them how simple it is for these things to be audited. But they can produce the same reports that USDC is producing. And then my second theory is it's because I think in terms of like the underground economy, Tether is being used widely unfortunately for legal activities. So unlike
you don't
USDC,
say.
Unlike USDC, because USDC is regulator approved, they're making sure that the token is being used only for legitimate activities, and they do the necessary AML, anti-money laundering, and know your client checks. These things don't happen in Tether. In fact, one of the criticisms lately for USD Circle is if you've heard this news report, I think 2 weeks ago, that Center just blocked one Ethereum address. If you've heard of that, seems to be a good news from a regulators or from a regulation or legal and regulation perspective. But from
if you're a crypto guy, you don't like hearing
from
stuff
a privacy
like that.
approach.
Yeah.
Yes, from privacy approach, you will start to get worried that this is not really censorship resistant. Unlike,
it's very censorable. That's basically what they're proving there, right? So if they don't like you, if they don't agree with your politics, there is a way for them to shut you down pretty directly.
Yeah, but I think it would be more to compliance where there's something absolutely provable illegal happening, and then that's the way I would have to do it. You'd freeze an account because
they blacklisted the address.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to do that under regulations. I have to do that. Central banks, wherever you've got them under control, whether it's America or here, you got no choice, but you have to have the option to do it. All stable coins have to have that.
So they don't have that in Tether. So if I want to do something hanky-panky or illegal, I would probably use Tether.
No, you, Raf? Yeah. Hanky-panky? Never.
Yeah, I think like, the industry is in this honeymoon phase with stable coins, at least the centralized ones. And once the banks start leaning on heavily on them to basically do the same thing that the banks have to do, then there won't be a big upside anymore to using Tether. I mean, and you could say that's unfortunately the case.
Well, I think in 10 years' time that every country central bank will issue their own central currency.
John Paul Sayo in the chat is saying, regardless of any stable coin, as long as there is centralization where specific people or a group of people could freeze your coins without your permission, he sees those coins as unstable. Just like the opposite opinion of it.
By the way, I just want to make we mentioned the fact that you can prove something that you own Bitcoin. Maybe you want to explain to everyone how you can do that. It's quite easy to do. So maybe it's not something that everyone knows how to do.
Are we talking about the Tether one, or like how the Tether Foundation is proving?
You have the crypto to back whatever you want to do. I have to do that on stellar issuance of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So most people can do it. It's just that people may not know how to prove that they've got Bitcoin very easily to other people.
Right. Yeah.
How to do that?
Can you do it in 1 minute? Because Coach Emma needs to do his segment.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, you can do it in using different kind of wallets. You sign a message saying, I love so-and-so. You sign it with your private key, and that proves that you got a private key.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, all right. It doesn't have to be I love so-and-so.
It can be hanky-panky.
It could be hanky-panky.
You write the message on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's there and
it could say, I love hanky-panky, Raf Padilla. That's what your message would say. Coach Eman, tell us what happened with the Bitcoin price. It went up as we were starting the show, so my screenshot is wrong now. It was we were at 9,200 last week when we ended the show. But
yes, correct.
I think we're at 9,350 right now.
Yeah. So regarding on Bitcoin price, so we have a good probability that we can go up to 10,800. So this is our monthly resistance.
What?
So
yes, I want to be able to sell it at that price.
Yeah.
When?
So
before next episode, hopefully.
next month.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. There's a huge probability because on a daily time frame, there's a lot of also other traders who speculates that if we stay above 9.5 to 9.8 this area. So this is where the price will set itself for another break for this resistance on a daily time frame. And if that happened, just like our analysis this past few weeks, we can expect another price high at 10,800. So if we're going to analyze what we have said in this analysis, is still the same what we have said on the past few weeks. What's the difference is there are altcoins who are moving with 100%, 90%, 50%, which is very significant because that didn't happen for the past 1.5 years. It didn't happen for the past. It means volume are starting to come in the market, and but yeah, we need to see more confirmation by looking at on our market cap. I want to see a 300 market cap volume. So from there, that we can expect another rally. So, yeah.
$10,800 is a very specific number. Where did you? Is that like a
monthly?
How did you? Sorry,
monthly time frame.
Okay.
Monthly time frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason why we are also looking at the monthly time frame is so that we can have an estimate what is going on for this month. So let's say the month of July is already done, and we can also expect the month of monthly time frame in our BTC will also update itself and create a new candlestick over here. So yeah, that's what we are waiting for at this level. multi-time frame.
What do you think, Mark? If we hit 10,800 next month, are you going to sponsor the show?
Sure, why not?
You heard it here first, folks.
You're going to be buying some of my Bitcoin, so no problem.
But again, this is not a financial advice, so we're still moving on a range. That's why here we shorted the market, but it didn't give us that much reward. So there's a huge likelihood that people are supporting and defending this level. So
okay, interesting. Okay, wow.
My crystal ball says it's also going up.
Okay, that's good.
To put it simply, if it's not going up, it's going down.
Okay, that's
easy, guys. There's only two ways.
Easy, very easy. No need to write sophisticated lines. No need to use indicators.
That's financial advice.
That's how you do it.
Okay,
it's not going up; it's going down.
This is why you watch the Bloomcast, folks, for the real expert advice. Okay, thanks so much, Coach. I'm gonna go back to our normal layout. There you go. Okay, here we go. In the chat, Ian and Honoria is pointing out that even Tether can blacklist addresses, and they actually have. I didn't know this actually. So this is news to me.
It seems to be Luis. Seems to be a new report that they published after Center also released the report that
they were like kami rin,
yeah, exactly.
We're good boys as well.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But it still doesn't change the fact that you don't see Tether being approved by any regulator. In fact, it's always a red flag for regulators.
Understood. Okay. Well, unfortunately, it is the easiest of the stablecoins to use. It is the most available, and it is one of the only ones that I could do like a cash trade for, and someone would actually have Tether.
I had a quick look, Luis, at the availability of Tether versus USDC, which is the next one on CoinMarketCap. So Tether has about 400 plus exchanges and pairings.
Okay.
USDC has about 250, 260.
Wow. Oh, that's not that
quickly
catching up. Far, but
not that
quickly
bad.
Catching up.
Okay.
But if you look at like liquidity, you Lewis, you're part of the OTC, right? The OTC Telegram chat, and you see a lot of USDT being sold now here. For PHP.
For sure.
So I've noticed that change in the last couple of months from 2 years.
I mean, I didn't want to put it. I'm not going to put any numbers on it, but even from Bloom's point of view, a lot of our trading now, it used to be almost 90% Bitcoin. A lot of that is now being replaced by Tether because it's just easier, I guess, for some people. It's easier to wrap your head around it.
Are you're not making any? Are there any margins in US Tether? Buying and selling it. I mean,
we are buying and selling it. Yeah, just like a normal foreign exchange company.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It actually makes it really simple. So the trick is, here, guys. Here's trading advice for you. Are you ready for this? You try to buy low and then you try to sell high. That's all you need to know, and then you're pretty much golden now. Okay.
Unless you short it and blah blah blah.
Blah blah. Yeah, and then it gets really complicated after that. Anyway, so that's why you watch the show, guys. Okay. What was the? Oh, okay. So, are there any Abra users in the chat? If you're an Abra user, can you let us know, please? Because this article, this was contributed by Attorney Raf. This is going to be relevant to you. Now, I'll just do a quick summary. So the SEC in the States, not the Philippine one, but the US one, has charged Abra with basically engaging in unregistered securities trading using their app. And what that means is that, a lot of people just know Abra as a cryptocurrency, wallet, a place to buy Bitcoin, whatever. But recently they started doing stocks as well. So you can buy Amazon, Apple, Coca-Cola, Facebook, all of that stuff. You can buy tiny amounts of it using the Abra app. Turns out that maybe that was not legal. Attorney Raf, this was your an article that you shared with me, kanina. You want to give us your thoughts on it?
Yeah. This is actually a product that has been offered by Abra. If I can really remember that they started this as early as 2017, and then I think at that time they started first with cryptocurrency based swaps, and then sometime in early 2019 they started offering also securities based swaps. So the issue here for the US SEC is issuing a security-based swap is actually a security, and offering it publicly within the US territory without the necessary SEC approval violates the securities law, the Securities Act in the United States. Also note that it's not actually the US SEC who issued this.
Is it not? Okay. Okay.
Not just US SEC, also the CFTC. The CFTC stands for Commodities and Futures Trading Commission. The CFTC is the regulator in the United States of futures contracts. Here in the Philippines, that distinction doesn't matter, because here in the Philippines, both the securities and the futures are regulated by the SEC. In the US, securities are regulated by SEC, and futures contracts are regulated by the CFTC. On the same day, actually, July 13, 2020, the US SEC and the US CFTC issued the same press release where they reported this administrative this enforcement action against Abra for this product, and Abra agreed to settle for $150,000 US dollars.
Not bad. That's about the same amount as the Bitcoin hacker got away with.
Yeah, and but the thing is, the CFTC also fined them, and they settled for $150,000 US. There are reports. I saw this on CoinDesk. That Abra, the entity that they have in the US, Bluetooth, was actually a beneficiary of the PPP bailout loans in the US. So PPP, for your information, is this bailout loan that is being made available to companies. There is a report that there are actually many blockchain and crypto companies who availed of this loan. Apparently, even Abra availed this loan, and it was reported that they on CoinDesk that they were granted around $350,000 US.
So they're just giving the money back then?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to use that money.
All right.
Yes.
Wow.
Pay the fines that they'll have to pay the US SEC and the US CFTC.
So
Randlu in the chat is saying that
in total, right? 300,000 in penalties or whatever. And they've got funding for 50 million. So really, it's kind of a promotional thing. The more people will hear it. I mean, it's advertising. It's not very high fine, is it?
It's not a very big fine.
But Mark, Mark, here's the thing though. They were able, and Bill is a very good. When you hear him talk, he sounds really good. Like he sounds to be very sure about what he's saying, and he's a good salesman. And definitely for those investors, a significant factor in their decision is the assurance that the financial products or financial services that Abra will be offering the global market is legally feasible. With news like this, that basically rejects the notion that this product that they have been offering is legally feasible. I don't know how this will affect now potential investors in the future, or even those existing investors.
Oh, you mean you can't offer it? You have to get permission in each country to sell it, or you can't do it global. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And but they don't have a history of doing that. You can do a check right now if they have license in any particular jurisdiction.
No, they don't. That's part of their business strategy.
I read they had an associated Philippines company as part of the.
Yes, Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Bluetooth also.
That's just but that's just a subsidiary of the US company,
software company.
Yes.
Yeah. In the chat, Ranlu is saying that the Abra app no longer has that function. So I mean, I guess because you probably have to remove it, right? If you get slapped with a fine like that. Interesting.
So, but that's interesting that I can't sell if I want to raise money by selling shares. Then you have to go to each country and get a registration. It's impossible.
Securities. Yes,
it's impossible.
But the reason for that is financial services are typically registered on a per jurisdiction basis.
Yeah, I know. But
unlike you have a regime to simplify that in other territories, like in EU, in European Union, where they have the passporting rights. Where, for example, you receive a financial service license in Luxembourg for an EMI license. That actually allows you already to offer the same product all throughout Europe.
No, I won't be able to offer investments though, because I'm going through the EMI creation process in Cyprus. Same thing. Luxembourg.
Yeah, but the general rule still is once you enter a local market and you're offering financial service, right? Regardless of what technology you use, then you have to apply for the relevant licenses.
So in the chat, a couple of our viewers, John Paul Sayo, BJ Rams, they're all saying that Uphold still has this feature. Uphold is another San Francisco-based. Not a great idea, turns out.
By the way, Luis, can I also add this point? Actually, the product is legally impossible to offer here in the Philippines. The reason for that is even if you approach the Philippine SEC and you try to register this product, they won't allow it. Because in substance, this product is a contract for difference or CFD. And as a policy, we have seen the SEC issue several advisories saying to the effect that we currently do not issue licenses for CFDs or contracts for difference.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, it's
so contract for difference. That's so it's not really a gambling. It's the position of CFD on whether it's a financial product or a gambling product varies per jurisdiction. There are some states in the US where that is considered, CFDs are considered as a gambling product. But let's explain first briefly what a CFD is.
Okay, but let's keep it short, guys, because this rabbit hole is very deep. I've seen this before.
We'll try to simplify it. Basically, in CFD, there is an underlying asset. The underlying asset may be a security, or it can even be just an underlying asset like foreign currency, for example, or even digital asset. That's possible. And then what you do is that's being pegged to that underlying asset, and then you're just basically betting on whether the price of that underlying asset will go up or will go down.
That's why it's called contract for difference, because you're betting on the difference in the price.
Yes.
That's all.
Gotcha. Okay.
Guys. Sorry, I'm gonna cut that. Yeah, Raf. Sorry. Let's put a cork on that one, because it gets pretty complicated, and
no problem.
And I think we're not actually talking about Abra here anymore. I think that this news is going to have some pretty big effects downstream also, because the Philippines SEC is going to look at Abra a little bit more closely now. And, they've gotten away with being unlicensed pretty much for their entire life, as a company. That it's really part of their strategy to not be licensed. So it's going to have some really interesting effects. And so I'm trying to see if there's anyone else in the chat who uses Abra regularly. April said that she was using Abra for very small amounts of money. I wonder if anyone here is relying on Abra to be kind of,
I don't think is it used a lot in remittances back to the Philippines?
I feel like people are using it.
That's what Bill says, but
of course. Because that's what the mission was for a while, right?
Yeah, I'm involved with like with Stellar Foundation, a bit more now. And so one of the problems, like Raf was saying about EMI licenses, if you want to get the same kind of thing in America, you got to get 50 licenses in one each state. So how do I get Filipinos to send money via blockchain from America? So you work with a US dollar anchor. USD anchor is one of them, like USD coin or whatever. They issue legally on Stellar, and now I can have that money not running as a custodial, not in my wallets where I have it, but you manage with your own private keys. So now you can send it and use it within wallets like mine, move it around without we having to worry about SEC or anyone over there. So that's where US, because most of the stable coins are being used in the exchanges right now, and I'm more interested in how is it used to transfer value across borders and so on. So
in the chat, Mots is saying he tried to use Abra to transfer his crypto to Binance.
What?
Like, why would you?
Why would you? Maybe he's got you mean straight from like a Bitcoin wallet to another Bitcoin wallet. That's all.
Okay.
Maybe he bought Bitcoin through Abra to send to Binance.
Right, and then put it on. Okay, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Okay,
I know this is a bit anecdotal, but when we used to do Bitcoin 101 sessions, we would ask the audience what kinds of wallets they were familiar with, and it was always Abra or Coins where they kept their Bitcoin.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it is a very popular
Says
option.
Says a lot.
I think that's more commonly used when there's lots of people who are trading or who are buying Bitcoin for their gambling. So they're mostly using coins or Abra for
their gambling.
They're also the companies that have been around in the Philippines the longest, if you think about it, right? Because like Abra's been around since 2015 or something.
2015, yes.
Long time.
Since they started. Because Philippines is their test market for their product.
They never actually left the Philippines. It's still we're still the only market where they have a lot of traction, I think.
So but apparently not in this group.
And where they don't have a license.
Right, yeah.
So Mots is commenting, he said that the downside of Abra is that you have to wait 1 to 2 days to transfer the money from the bank to your Abra wallet, which can be scary.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Yeah,
that's the bank problem, not Abra's problem usually.
I mean, I don't think Abra does it on purpose. I think it's just that they can't find a way to do it faster, which is unfortunate. I mean, there are ways now. I mean, InstaPay exists now, so you don't have to still use 2015 banking.
Abra is not registered.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work with Abra, the InstaPay.
Well, because then you have to be part of PPMI, and they're not part of the system here because they're not licensed. So
they don't have license.
Yeah.
I see.
They should go peer-to-peer then. That should be the solution there. Okay. So moving from one SEC to another SEC, this SEC we're a little bit more familiar with. So last week we talked, actually the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about the Forsage.
Please don't go into it anymore.
So we're just going to do this one quick one because the SEC here issued another advisory just a few days back about Million.money. Okay. And it's kind of very similar. The website, I kind of like this website a little bit more. I thought that I'd like the Forsage website with the panther, but this one's even cuter. It's got like this little Wally looking robot, but it is kind of the same concept. Million.money, really, really aggressive with the promises of kind of guaranteed returns and things like that. So this is just, the Bloomcast letting you guys know that if you or anyone is trying to convince you to get into the Million.money thing,
it's a scam.
It's very likely a scam. Yes. And that's it.
I would say that all of these scams will eventually educate everyone, so everyone knows that scam and it doesn't work anymore. So.
Well, that hasn't happened with normal pyramids or Ponzi schemes.
But this is all transparent and well publicized. So
yeah. Well, we're trying. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Okay. So this is the part of the show that actually really matters. Like this was the main reason why we wanted to do this episode. So we had a friend of the show named Will. A few days back, he asked, he's finally gotten around to learning about this whole Bitcoin thing. He's just really starting. He doesn't kind of know where to begin. I keep telling him to watch the show. Obviously, the show has been talking about a lot of other different things. So I think he now knows way more about Ethereum Ponzi schemes than he really needed, but that's unfortunate. So the question was, what's the bare minimum I need to get started with Bitcoin? And it was a very broad question. And when I was talking to Mon about this, Mon's concepts of this answering this question was to talk about the philosophy of money and things like that. But I think that maybe we can take it from a practical perspective. I don't know if Will is in the chat right now. I saw him briefly, kanina.
$10. I think it's $10.
Yeah. Even with Paxful, it's the same. You can buy as low as $10.
Your answers are literally the amount. That's the bare minimum amount.
That's the minimum amount.
Yeah, we're taking it literally.
That's funny.
Yeah, Will's listening.
I wanted to break it down into three possible vectors. So what are the things that you want to consider? One is your budget, two is your time frame, and then three is your storage. These are like all practical things. But Mon, maybe what you can do, just kind of talk a little bit about like your journey with the whole philosophy of money thing, just to kind of give us a little context.
Well, yeah, I've seen people get into it both ways. They buy a little without knowing what it is, and then they see the price go up, and then they start asking, right? What's this? What's money anyway? Others, they came from a more like economic history background. Maybe they were into gold, and they saw Bitcoin, and they're like, I want that. I was more like the first one. I just, it was a tech curiosity. And then I started asking what money is. And it really opens your eyes. It makes you like research about what the peso is, what the dollar is. And I think like that is probably equally as rewarding as the price rise in Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm going to keep it short because I know we don't have a lot of time.
Bitcoin got me into money. Bitcoin actually brought me into the traditional finance system because of Bitcoin. It's quite interesting. Same way.
Yeah, I think that for a lot of us, we suddenly became super interested in economics, in how money markets work, in how monetary policy works, because that is how you begin to really appreciate the problems that Bitcoin was trying to solve. So yeah, totally agree. I will say also that Will actually bought the Little Bitcoin book, so he's got a little bit of a head start on the monetary policy thing. Yeah, I kind of forced it on him. Anyway, but thank you for your patronage. Okay, so thoughts on these three things that are on screen here. So budget, time frame, storage. So firstly, budget. I guess this is very relative, no? And I guess April, you already kind of put a number out there. So in your opinion, $10, that's kind of what you would recommend to people if they wanted to just start.
Well, yes, I did say $10. That's the lowest you can buy on Paxful too. But I would always say that start only with the amount that you're willing to not lose, but you're this amount that you're not, let's say you're going to pay your bills, so you have this amount that you don't need right away. So it's safe to start with amount that you have kind of stashed away. And
are you going to tell us how much your first Bitcoin purchase was? Was it $10?
No. I mentioned before that I was very impulsive. Like, my third month in Paxful, I was like, okay, let's get everything there. So
what do you mean by everything?
Everything. All my salary was there, and I traded it. So that's obviously not a financial advice. Don't do that. But
was that 3 years ago in 2017 or?
What?
Sorry,
was that Christmas 2017?
No, I started just last year.
That's okay.
Yeah, so the price was a little bit lower. Thank God it wasn't $20,000 when April got in. Thank God.
Yeah, it was. I was not keeping it. It was peer to peer, so I just sold it at a higher margin.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
buy low, sell high. Yeah, Raph.
Luis. Yes. Yeah, can I also suggest in relation to what April mentioned? I just want to share in my case, my first Bitcoin transaction wasn't a Bitcoin purchase. It was a Bitcoin payment. I got paid in Bitcoin.
That's the way to do it.
And I think this is, I think, one thing that we can also consider. I mean, we always hear about statements like, do not invest money that you can't afford to lose. In my personal experience, receiving something, when I receive something in Bitcoin, I don't care anymore how much that was. So maybe it's a good way also to encourage our community also to encourage, to incentivize or to promote the usage of Bitcoin. We should encourage our community to start accepting Bitcoin payments in their transactions, whether for your services or for certain products. And then try to save that.
Yeah. If you win the viewer raffle here, you will definitely receive Bitcoin. That is a Bitcoin payment, and as it happens, it is $10. So it actually fits everything that we've just said. So okay, in the chat, BJ Rams is saying 10 to 20% of your income is his opinion on this. That feels a little high to me, honestly. Like I would probably recommend more like 3 to 5%.
For a new person, that's a bit high.
Of the income, it also depends how much savings they have. Right?
There's a lot of factors.
I've seen the one that makes sense to me is like 1 to 2% of your net worth.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Like if you lose 2% of your net worth, that's like almost nothing. That's a year in inflation. And if you gain, like if Bitcoin continues to do what it does, then you might do a 10x there, and that 2% might become 20% of your portfolio.
Well, I have the opposite view of that. I think it should be, and I think quite a few people are like Novogratz. He recommended 20 to 30% of your net worth should be in Bitcoin.
That's too high for this. Let's not forget that Bitcoin is a high-risk asset.
The profile of these investors are very different to the majority.
Yeah, well, that was me in 2012, so I did that.
Yeah,
well, I mean, so there are happy endings for some people, for sure.
But I didn't do it. The original reason was so I could give it away for a reward.
Well, you can still give it away.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it.
Mark, that's fine. I mean, so there's 8 people on this chat right now. Coach Eman had to leave, but I'll take his share for him, and I'll just hold it on his behalf. It'll be a custodial. I'll hold it in a custodial solution. Okay. So let's see if there's anyone else. Okay. Zilong says it depends on one's character. Yeah, that's true too. I guess if you're a risk,
I've heard like, I guess traders or macro people, like they say, just get your thesis. Like you have to have conviction in it, and when you do, stick with it. And the conviction you get through reading, through research. But if it's like you hardly know anything, don't buy a lot.
Have your rules, guys. Have your rules.
At least be able to justify why you're buying so much.
I did my research for like 3 months before actually putting everything there.
There you go.
3 months.
There are some people who are still in this game and they sell every time they just make 10%, right? And that
that's
compared to the person who's always waiting for the grand slam to the moon profit is gone already. So people who stick to their rules stay in the long run, right?
There you go. Okay. Number 2 was time frame. So how do you guys first time Bitcoin investor, speculator, whatever, like do you tell them, sit on it for a couple of years? What kind of time frame do you think would you guys recommend?
Until you need it.
So basically indefinitely sit on it for as long as you possibly can.
Until you need it,
Plus one of that. Plus one.
Okay.
Give it to your kids.
Wow. Okay, so you're thinking inheritance. Okay.
Like a savings, like your savings in a form of BTC.
I mean, like that question is really interesting on Twitter. Some people ask, if you're given $100,000 and you can only pick one asset to put that in, would
gold
it
or
be
Bitcoin?
the US dollar or your currency or Bitcoin or gold? And Bitcoin wins by far.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Cows, not cows. Cows is good.
Yeah, the problem with cows, Mark, I don't know if you know this, but cows really only have about a 3 to 4 year lifespan because we harvest them so quickly. So you have to keep rebuying that cow.
Well, actually, you were talking about that in Africa. The cows are used as a currency format. So if you've got 400 cows, you're really rich, and they earn interest every year by having cows.
If you stockpile cows, you're gonna have an issue with step 3 in our things to consider. Storage.
That's true.
Your condo.
Can't put that on a ledger wallet. It doesn't work that way.
There's no seed for that.
Yeah, there's no seed phrase for that. That's really funny. But yeah, I mean, the problem with the cow investment is that it brings with it many, many other costs. Whereas with Bitcoin, you really need just a piece of paper and
but
safe.
What I'm saying is in Africa, you can tokenize the existing collateral.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have
Mr. Tokenizer
coins as well of your cow.
He is the tokenizer.
Milk, butter.
Mark, we have that in Southeast Asia as well. If you've heard of Sentinel Chain, that's basically what they're trying to do.
Oh,
that's it. That was the name I couldn't remember, Raf. That's it.
Sentinel
Chain. Yes. Yeah.
With cows?
Yes.
Including cows and other livestock.
They were a little bit more broad. They were using NFC. Am I saying that right? NFC chips. So they were chipping. They're actually putting chips in the cows to prove that they were still alive. Which is, I mean, because it's relevant, right? I mean, the problem is your investment doesn't really cost, it's not valued the same anymore if the cow is dead. So, which is a constant problem when you're a cow.
It's called burning the currency. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so it is not the show's recommendation to get into cow investments necessarily. But apparently everyone has an opinion on these cows. Okay. Zlong reminds us, DYOR, do your own research. Yes, 100% do your own research.
And a lot of people ask me if, where can I get all this information? Is there starter packs to learn from? I said, there's so much information online. A lot of good information. Just research and learn. Use Google.
Do you not think that the problem is that there's so much information that it's really hard to know where to start?
Well,
it's a little overwhelming.
Someone who's helpful to many people and a good gateway drug to this is Andreas Antonopoulos. I totally recommend him.
Yeah, hard to spell his last name. I've never gotten it right. But if you want to give it a look, Andreas Antonopoulos was one of the very, very first Bitcoin evangelists. And his videos from 2012, 2013, those were what I was watching on YouTube when I was first learning about this stuff.
Yeah.
And they would really long videos, right? He'd do like an hour and a half sometimes, just him talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how I got started back then. Yeah.
And if Brock Pierce becomes president, you can be sure it's going to hit the curriculum.
It'll be EOS.
Oh yeah. There you go. Okay. Number 3 was storage. Thoughts on this, Mon? I know that you said that you probably wouldn't recommend hardware wallets.
No, not at the beginning. I mean, well, I think last time, and I think it's worth repeating this. It depends on the amount, right? Like if you're that person that wants to sink in 5 million pesos here, you better put time to learning how to store them properly. And I would say a multi-signature hardware wallet, which I think is for large amounts, that's the de facto way to store it.
Right. Right. But for someone who was following our very first piece of advice was just $10 here and there.
Yeah, custodial, that's okay.
Yeah. And like what?
$10.
Like, so would you say, maybe not Abra now. I was about to say, would you recommend Abra? So like coins.ph,
Tagcash.
Sure.
Tagcash. Oh, Tagcash. Okay.
Yeah. But
I'd still recommend using one of the myriad non-custodial wallets just to learn about it. You want to get $10. You want to learn about it. You get into the creating the seed phrases, whatever to do. Learn a little bit while you do it. Transfer.
I know you like Trust Wallet a lot, right, Mark?
Yeah. Trust Wallet is such an easy wallet.
There you go. Okay, so that's a pretty specific.
That's good advice.
There. Okay. Well, where would you buy it though? I guess you could buy it from Paxful since that's the minimum. So that's the minimum amount you could trade.
Buy it from the person that wants to get you into it, where you've heard it from, your friends, whatever.
Anthony Chua in the chat says, if you want to get into Bitcoin, Google Silk Road. Wow, that is okay.
Okay, that's an OG speaking.
Yeah, I know. That is a very, very deep rabbit hole that you would get into if you Google the Silk Road. But that is one of the most notorious Bitcoin marketplaces ever, even until now.
But without Silk Road and without the Cypriot thing, with the banks going bust and all Russia's piling in, I don't think Bitcoin would be as big as it is now. This is very similar to the porn in the early days of the internet. That made the internet grow so much faster, and people.
I don't remember that far back, Mark, but okay, I'll have to take your word for it.
That's the same, you get all this stuff happening. There's more publicity and people get into it. Yeah. And so without those two things happening, I don't know if Bitcoin would have been as big as it is now.
I think for sure, with Silk Road, for sure. Just because that was the first time that people saw, like, in real life, how you could use this stuff. And then, unfortunately, the U.S. government just kind of went crazy, like went overboard with what it how it handled that situation. But anyway, very interesting story. If you've got like a couple of days to kill, that the Silk Road kind of controversy is a very, very interesting part of Bitcoin history. Let's see what else is in the chat here. Experience is the real good teacher. Yeah.
And not via scams.
Yeah. Not by scams, and hopefully not because you lost your seed phrase or something like that.
Yes. Test your ability to spend from a wallet. So when you have when it's not a custodial one, and you have the seed phrase, like send a little bit in, very small. Wipe your wallet out, enter your seed phrase again, and then test that you can send out.
And $10, if you lose it, it's not a lot to lose, just in the experience. But if you follow the rules and the learning, what you learn, and then you actually look up on Google, how do I do this? What are the best methods? It doesn't take long, a day to look after your money, and then more than most people then.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of $10, I think it's time for the raffle.
Segue.
Unfortunately, my soundboard app is crashing on me, so I can't get it to run. So we're gonna have to do the drum roll in our minds. We're just gonna have to imagine it, unfortunately, unless someone can kind of whip out a drum roll sound effect in like the next 30 seconds. I'm going to switch to the raffle screen right now. Let's see, where is that? There you go. There. Okay, cool. So as with every week, we're going to do 3 potential winners. All of these people are in the chat. If you've left a comment, then you're automatically eligible. If you have won more than twice, you are not eligible anymore. We've only got like one person ever who's won more than twice, I think. So this is not really going to be much of a problem. But here we go. Sorry, no sound effects. But like, just imagine the drum roll. Here we go. Something like that. And we can't. So no, we can't do Mark Vernon.
Did I win? Oh,
yes, you won. You won, Mark.
Oh, $10, Mark.
Yeah. So we can't do Mark. I guess the other rule that I should have mentioned was that you can't win if you're one of the speakers. But I thought that would go without saying. Okay, so we'll do another winner. Mark, maybe next time you shouldn't leave any comments in the chat so that your name won't actually.
Hey, I've got the drum. You ready?
Our raffle just doesn't want to cooperate. Looks like this time it's Raf Padilla. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work either. I'm gonna start running out of people to pick. Hold on.
Want the drum roll yet? I got the drum roll for you.
Okay, go hit it.
Ready?
Wait, yeah, okay. Go for it. Hit it. I can't hear it.
I can hear it.
Was there something? Okay. All right, there you go. The name of someone who is not a speaker on the show, because I was really worried that we would only pick speakers from now on. Okay, Branston. Hope he's there somewhere. April, have you got it?
Did Raf win 2 times?
Yeah, he won twice. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, how lucky do you have to be?
After Mark.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
he
helped us. He helped us, put the show together and all of that stuff. So we owe him more than $20, I think. It's just not from show prizes. Okay, here we go. All right, one more winner. Here we go.
All right.
Hey, Mark, hit the drum roll. How come I can't hear it? It's weird. John Marquez. Okay, there you go. Name that I think I saw just earlier. Rigged. Okay, Ian, it's not rigged. But yes, it might be rigged actually. Like we were just trying to give Raf $20 in Bitcoin. But he did say that that was how he was earning Bitcoin. He never bought Bitcoin, he would just earn it. So there you go. He earns it by winning contests. That's a pretty good strategy.
I bought Bitcoins in 2017 because at that time the price was really
did you
shooting up.
Remind me, did you buy that from us? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
You're
welcome.
You bought it at 20,000.
Yeah, well, not naman 20,000, but it's pretty expensive.
Around 2,000.
Oh, not bad.
Not bad.
Okay, pretty good. Okay, all right, last winner of the night, guys. Here we go. Drum roll again.
Oh shit! Adverts. I can't get what you want from YouTube anymore.
Okay, all right, fine. It's okay. Next week we will fix the technical problems with our audio. BJ Rams. Okay, so BJ Rams, this is the second time you've won, and that's fine. You're still eligible. But after this, you can't win again. So just so we can give chance to the other people in the comments. So have you got his name, April?
Yep, we've gathered 3.
Thank you. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. This was a funny episode. Let's do our
I'm
goodbyes.
liking the Bitcoin questions and non-scam topics.
Yeah, non-scam comics, excellent.
Okay.
We just missed the Bitcoin topic.
Are we? Is there a problem with our video? Can people see the video?
No, it's the black screen.
Oh no, it's gone. Yeah.
Oh no.
Just now.
What's going on there? Okay, I am.
But they can hear us, I think.
Okay. Wow, weird technical problems. Okay, how do I do this? I can. No, it's Zoom. Like Zoom itself has kind of blacked out on me. That's so strange.
Oh, we can all say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, we were about to anyway, but I just want to make sure that I can. Show everyone. Here we go.
Well, I'm going to say goodbye, and you can get hold of me at Mark Vernon on Telegram or fb.com/Mark Vernon because I've got to go off for dinner now.
Okay. Thanks so much, Mark.
Bye, Mike.
April Albero, where can people find more of you and your work on the internet?
Check us out. It's paxful.com, and you can quickly buy and sell Bitcoin there. And you can also look for us on the Telegram. It's Paxful Filipino community. It's a very engaged Filipino community, and we're also running activities there. And join us. Thank you.
Thanks so much, April. Thanks so much for sponsoring the show. Again, really sorry about the technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on right now. I feel like Facebook really got mad at me for using that music at the start of the show. Attorney Raf, where can people find more of you and your work on the internet?
Perhaps here on Bloomcast if I get invited